So in this tutorial, we're going to do is go through and paint our character. Okay, so I'm going to have my character selected here. And what I got to do first off is assign a new material to him and or her. I guess mine's a he. I don't know. It's kind of generic, a little androgynous. So what I'm going to do is just have this selected. If you go up here, you can click on this to open another hypershade. You can also go to Window, Rendering Editors, Hypershade, or you can right click over top of it and go Assign New Material, and then you can choose one here. Just go ahead and choose Blend. It's a generically okay one. Click on that. The attribute is automatically going to pop up, and we're going to go ahead and rename this whatever your character's name is. So mine's going to be dude underscore MAT for material. And then what I'm going to do is take reflectivity all the way down. This is not a reflective character. Take specular almost like just about off. So basically there's no shine to it. So the reason why we chose blend is because blend has a shine. So if we want to put shine in there, you know, a specular highlight, that is a possibility. Lambert doesn't even have this as an option, so that's why I use that. I'd rather have it as an option, not use it, than to, you know, otherwise. The rest of this I don't really care about. Color, we can leave it there, and the rest is fine. One other thing I want to do is select a model here, and I'm just going to do a little cleanup. I'm just going to go ahead and change the name. So I'm just going to call it like dude body underscore geo. Okay, so whatever your character's name, in this case the body, because they're going to have eyes and hair, so I'm just going to do body underscore geo. I'm also going to go to edit, delete all by type history, and I'll get rid of all that history, just to, again, just kind of cleaning up. All right. Got the guy here. I applied a new material to it. So now what I need to do is actually create what we call a PSD network. So if you just go to UV, go to UV editor, you have this little window here, and we have our guy with the UVs. Now what I'm going to do is if you go to image, you can do create PSD network. Boop. It's going to bring up this little panel here. So I would go ahead and you can do anywhere from 1020. Let's go ahead and do 2048. If you click on this option, it's just automatically going to open up Photoshop for you. I'll just turn it on because as soon as I make this, that's what I want to do. Include UV snapshot. Basically, it's going to include this picture. Yada, 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 yada. The things I want to add here are color. That's one of the, obviously, that's the thing I would want to paint. Another one is bump, which will allow it to have like fine details that react to light. And then lastly would be specular color. Okay, so this will allow if I want to make something shiny and something not shiny. These are the main three that you pretty much will usually see. The rest of them I don't care so much. And honestly, you might not even really need the specular. You can even almost get away with the bump, without bump. But the color, obviously, you're going to need. So I hit create. It's going to automatically pop open Photoshop. I have a bunch of different programs in here, so I'll go ahead and do Photoshop. We'll hit OK. And I'm going to pause this while it goes. So it's going to pop open Photoshop. If it doesn't, just open up Photoshop, and you should be able to locate, go to the source images of your project folder, and that's where this will be located, and then just open it up inside of Photoshop. Okay. So I got this guy over here. This is all looking, yay. Basically what it does is going to give a UV snapshot, which is on top, okay? And if you want, you can go ahead and just click on this to lock it so you don't accidentally draw on it. That's not something you want. And then it's going to give you these three folders, and each underneath one of these folders is going to be an image layer, okay? And you can put multiple ones inside of each one of these. These are just the base ones they gave you, and they're pretty much based off of what you, when you did the sliders and stuff. So you notice my specular is very dark, and I'm just going to turn them off depending on what I want to work on. So I'm going to go on color first. I'm going to take this one off, take this one off, and then I'm going to click on the color one, and I guess I'll just paint right on this layer. I guess it doesn't make much difference. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to change this name to primary. So I'm going to try and paint all the most basic colors. So I'm going to click on the brush, and I'm going to do like, I don't know, some sort of like fleshy tone here. So depending on your character, this could look different. So let's see. Why don't we make them a little bit tanner? Yeah, I usually do. You should do really pale characters. I'm assuming you know how to use Photoshop, so I'm not really going to get too much into it. But so I'm selected there. Here's this. I got the brush. You can hit the B. Brackets to the left of P are the make brush bigger and smaller. And I'm going to go over here and I'll make sure I have a hard brush, okay? And all I'm going to do is just going to generally try to paint, so this is fleshy too. I'm going to paint all of the fleshy areas, right? So I'm just going to real generically, and I can go over, it doesn't matter. In fact, actually it's better to go over just in case some of the UVs or whatever get weird. So let's control or command plus plus, that is zoom in, okay, and whoop, all right. And I'm a little bit over, but I don't care. I'm going to paint back anyway. Boom, and you got to figure out where the sleeve ends. And if you look, you can actually, so this is the arm, I can kind of remember. Oops, sorry. Oh, sorry, I'm hitting alt, that's why. So if I look at that, I'm going to use my brackets. This is right where the sleeve line is, so I'm just going to go from here and paint around. Okay, and that's right where the wrist is. So I'm just going to paint all my flesh color. Alright, so we'll just do it the same on the opposite end here. So, and in order to draw a line, so you notice like I click here. If I click once, I hold shift and click on next one, it draws a straight line, which in this case actually didn't work out that well. So I'm just holding shift and just clicking, and it draws lines from one to the next, which is kind of useful. So I can click here, hold shift, click here, here, and here, and then I can just, you know, manually paint in between. I'm going to control minus, minus, minus. Good. All right, so I got my flesh done. Now what I'll do is, let's say, oh, you know what else is, I actually have the neck still attached to the shirt here, which I guess this would be the shirt line. So this is pretty kind of orangey. Maybe I'm making Trump. All right, so let's see. Click here to hold shift. Boom. And I'm just holding shift. I'm going to draw the outside line first, and then go through and okay, and then go through. I'll make my brush a little bit bigger now and paint that. And try to cover what I can. So I'm using spacebar to use the pan tool quickly. All right, now that should be all that. All right, we'll give him a red shirt. I'm making the most generic character in the world. Generally speaking, try to use colors that aren't over this way. Don't use like perfect red. You know, try to do things that are a little bit off, because it gives you room. And generally, most things you'll see are not that saturated, even if you're doing a cartoony character. So I'm just gonna control plus plus, and this will be my shirt. So I'm gonna click, click, click. I'll make my brush a bit smaller here, just so it's a little more accurate. Oops. Boom, boom, and like I said, I'm just holding shift to draw kind of straight lines. I think it's just easier to work with. Alright, and if you hold Alt and middle mouse button, or middle, the wheelie ball, that's actually zoom as well, in case you were wondering. Okay, so Alt and click and drag. So, I'm not sure where the shirt line is. Is it the top one or the bottom one? I'm going to go ahead and go with the bottom one. So, there's going to be a little bit of finagling here. So, I'm just going to roughly, I'm just trying to lay this out to begin with, because that way I can, afterwards, if it's incorrect, I can go through and then fix it. Alright, so Alt. Alright, and I'm just going to go ahead and make my brush a bit bigger. And we'll just shoink. And we'll just kind of go up here. Alright. Good. And here to here, here to here, here to here. Well, I'll just click across. You get the idea. Missed a little bit down here. Alright. Make sure you don't cut into other areas. So, as you can see, I cut in a little bit, so I gotta be careful. Alright. Control minus, 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 minus. Now I gotta do the other part of the sleeve here. So, control, oops, Alt, and alright. So here to here to here to here. Because each one of these are basically lines from point to point to point. If you just click and hold shift on each line, theoretically it should be enough to work here. Oops, this is going off the thing. That's a problem. Oh well, I'm just going to deal with it. But if you notice, see my UVs are going off? I don't know how that happened. That's no good. But I kind of don't care right at this moment. But in the future, you'd want to fix that before you kind of carry it on and just adjust the UVs and restart it. What I'm going to do is, because that will actually bleed over here, I'm just going to make sure I paint all this red, and then hopefully you won't notice. Okay, boom, and boom, and boom, 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 boom. Okay. All right, and there we go. There we go. Okay. Minus. All right. So there's my shirt. Oops. All right. That's good. So next I'm gonna do is like we're gonna call it blue jeans. All right. So we'll kind of go a little bit more gray. Beautiful. All right. And this whole area, I'm just gonna go ahead and paint solidly a color. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what to do from there. Okay. All right. So now we have our primary colors done. Okay, so I got all these done. What I'm going to do is, you don't save this as a new version, you just save over top of the old one. So I'm going to say Control S to save. Control S to save. So you'll notice there's a little asterisk. So like, watch, if I do this, see how there's a little asterisk? It means that we did something and didn't save it. So that shouldn't be there. Go back to Photoshop, or to Maya. Click on your character. A lot of times it'll automatically pop up. It kind of did, so I can just hit 6 for the texturing mode, or you can click on this up here. If it doesn't, and we'll turn the wireframe on, shade it up. If it doesn't, all you got to do is you go to Image, and you go Update PSD Network, and that will reload it over here. Okay, and so now you can see, and basically all I'm doing is just look around and see if there's any weird things. Make sure I put the lines in the right spot. Looks like I actually did a pretty good job of figuring out where everything was, so that's pretty cool. Good. All right, so I get that done. Next, what I would do is go back into Photoshop, and I'm going to look for you can go on the interwebs here. I'll bring this back over here, and let's say we go to Bing, and I know what you're thinking. And what I'll do is I'll look up, like, let's say jean texture. Okay, and then what I can do is go to Images. And there's a bunch of different options here. So first off, I would do large or extra large, okay? Whatever you can get away with. Color, I don't care. Type, I don't care. Layout doesn't matter. People, date, license. Now what you can do is you can do the free, modify, share, and use commercially. And basically, it doesn't 100% cover you, but basically the idea is that you're allowed to use this, okay? So you can change that. This is one of the reasons why I actually like Bing more. And then we have all these options here, so I can utilize these various ones and apply them to what I have. So I'm gonna actually just select this first one, just because it looks like it's a repeatable texture here. So I'm gonna click on it, I'll click on it again, and there we go. So I'm gonna right click, and I'm just gonna copy the image. Actually, probably just copy it. And what I'm doing is I'm gonna make a layer above the primary layer, and I'm gonna go ahead and do Control V, and there it is. I'm gonna hit V for the select tool. And I'm just going to put this where I need it. So I need it basically where jeans are. So one here, I'll hit Control J to duplicate that layer, put another one here, all right, and Control J again, and put one at the base here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is go through and erase it. So I'll hit E for the eraser, and I got a hard brush here, and I'm just going to erase it where I don't want it. Okay. So I'm actually going to go through and select all 3 of these, right click, and go merge layers. That way I'm just doing them all at the same time. It's just easier to keep track of it that way. Oops. So I'm just going to kind of do the best I can and roughly try to erase out these pieces. Okay. And then when I'm done with that, I'll show you kind of what to do from there.